Google Classroom is an important part of the Columbine experience, and so this tutorial video is going to go over the basics of how to use the iPad app version of Google Classroom. If you're using it on a computer, it's relatively the same, but there's a few subtle differences. Anyways, Google Classroom is where you get all your assignments, it's where you turn in assignments, it's where you can get announcements from teachers, all sorts of stuff, so it's really important to know. I'm using the iPad app, so I'm going to click on it. It's over here in the lower left side. And then it's going to ask me to sign in. I'm going to sign in with a fake student account. In reality, you would sign in with your Google account, which is your first name, last name, high school graduation year, @student.mcsd.org. So give me a second here while I sign in with my fake account. Okay, it's going to ask for a password. In reality, your password would be capitalized first initial, capitalized second initial, or last initial, and then your 6-digit birthday. I'm going to sign in with my fake account password here. And we're off and running. So when you first sign into Google Classroom, or once you open it up and if you're already signed in, it's going to hit this landing page where all your classes are. This is the fake account. It's used by teachers to practice with and see if things are working from the student side of things. So here's all the classes that our fake student is in. If you want to join a class, you need a class code. And in order to join, you would take your finger and hit the plus in the lower right-hand corner. And then it's going to ask for a class code. Your teacher should have given you the class code, or it could be on their website, or maybe some other location, maybe they emailed it to you. But you type in the class code, and once you have the class code in, the join up in the upper right-hand corner turns blue. You would hit join, and bada boom, bada bing, you're in the class. I just made up that code, so I'm not going to join because it's not a real code. So we're going to go take a look at what this looks like in just a second. But I want to show you the 3 lines kind of at the top left corner. Anytime you see 3 lines or 3 dots, that's some kind of menu. So if I click on this, see it brings up a list of different things. So I can see all my classes here. I'm going to really quickly go to settings, because there's one setting I want you to be aware of that you probably want to have on. In notifications, it gives you the option to have notifications turned on, and I would make sure to do that because you will get an email notification of anything that happens in Google Classroom. So if your teacher posts an assignment, you'll get an email notification saying that, you know, Mrs. Mitchell posted such and such and it's due 2 days from now. So make sure you have your email notifications on. So that's in settings. So we're going to back out of that. Now let's go into a class. The class that I made is this first one that says sample class. So we're going to go in there. It's a sample social studies class. So I just made up some assignments and things just so that it kind of looks legit here. But in your class, you've got 3 places that you could be. The first place is the stream, which is basically just a running stream of everything that has happened in that class. So as your teacher posts announcements and posts assignments and does this and that and whatever, it's going to show up on the stream. The classwork part, and I'm navigating this by going to the bottom of the page. The classwork part is where I see the actual assignments. It kind of filters out some of that other stuff and I can see the actual assignments. This can be organized in different ways. In my sample class, I just kind of have it organized by the order I put them in. But after a while, when you get a lot of assignments, you could choose as a teacher to organize it into, you know, week 1 and week 2 and week 3, or topics or whatever. So this is just, like I said, it just has 4 assignments in it, so not much organization needed. The people section shows the people in the class. In this case, I only have 1 student in the class, which is my fake student, so it's not really populated by anything. So I'm going to go back to the stream. The next part of the video is going to show you basically how to get into an assignment, how to download things, how to turn things in, how to see if you got a good grade, and all that kind of stuff. So I want you to note that I'm in classwork right now. I'm looking at the assignments, and I also want you to note that 3 of them are blue and 1 is kind of grayed out, and there's a reason for that. The 3 in blue I still have to do. The 1 that's gray I've already done. So let's just take a look at it. These are the debate prep research notes. It says please hand in the research notes you took in preparation for next week's debate. At the bottom it shows my work, and it shows 18 out of 20, and then it says that there's a private comment. So I'm going to click on the arrow that's kind of pointing up. So I can see here what I submitted. It's that blank 3.pages thing, which was just a random thing, but in theory, that's my assignment. The private comment is a comment that the teacher wrote to me, the fake student, and explaining whatever. It could be, hey, here's why you got the grade you got, and in this case it says nice job. I could click and add a private comment back to the teacher, because sometimes the teacher might say, hey, you didn't explain this well enough, and I could add a private comment and try to explain it better, or something like that. Okay. Notice I could resubmit the assignment, so if a teacher lets you redo it or whatever, I could resubmit it, but that's my grade, 18 out of 20. So that's a completed assignment. So I just clicked the down arrow, and now I'm back to this part of things. I'm going to click the left arrow, and so now I'm back here. I want you to also note in the upper right-hand corner, there's an icon that you can push, and that brings up all your assignments with your grades, just as a quick way to see how you're doing. So I'm going to click the X. All right, so let's take a look. There's a couple of different kinds of assignments, and I didn't put them all in, but just so you know, there's different things. Like this question at the bottom, it says, were the colonists justified in rebelling against the British? This is a discussion question. So a lot of times teachers will have a discussion that, it can just be moderated by them or whatever, where kids can respond to each other. It's a common thing in remote learning. So in this case, see, it says answer the question in one good, well-constructed paragraph. So I would type my answer. Obviously, this is not going to get a good grade, but for any assignment, when you're done, you have to turn it in. So that blue button down there that says turn in, I'm going to push. It says submit answer. You won't be able to make changes, so I'm ready to go. I think that's a quality answer right there. There we go. So now my answer is in there. I could see classmate answers. I could respond to them. There's nobody really to respond to or anything, so we won't bother pushing that. So that's one type of question or assignment that you could get. So I hit the left arrow key, so now I'm back here. Notice it's grayed out because I did it. Now let's imagine that I need to get something from a teacher. Maybe a teacher has a worksheet that I need to work on or a PDF that I need to read. So we're going to look at how to do that. There's a couple different ways, actually. So I'm going to go with the assignment that says read the following PDF, blah, blah, blah. It's at the top. So it says read the following PDF, write an essay explaining whether you agree with the author or not. And notice that there's the PDF. So in the case of this, I could actually just click on it, because I just have to read it, and I could read it right here. And then I could go write my essay. If I had to do something to this, like say it's a worksheet that I have to modify, then I'm going to have to go an extra step. In a lot of cases, you're going to have to take the thing, whatever it is, and open it up in an app so that you can modify it. So I'll show you how to do that in Notability, because Notability is one common app that gets used a lot. So if you notice in the upper right-hand corner, there's an arrow pointing up to the upper right. I'm going to click on that. And this is going to kind of filter it through my Drive. So I'm already signed in to my Drive app on this iPad as a fake student. Now I have 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. Remember, 3 dots means you have a menu. So if I click on that, one of the options says send a copy. So I'm going to send a copy, and now it's going to send a copy to a connected app, in this case Notability. So I'm going to hit create a new note and import. So it says one file sent to Notability, done. So I clicked on done. Now I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go into Notability, which is right down there. It's the pencil. And you can see it right there where it says Tea Party and Intolerable Acts. So if I click on that, there I am. So now I have it in Notability, and if I wanted to, I could type on it or write on it or do anything like that to modify it. So that's how you would get something. Now let's look at handing in an assignment. And there's actually 2 different ways you can do it. You can do it by adding an attachment, or you can do it from within whatever app you used. So we'll go over adding an attachment first. I'm going to use Taxes, Liberty, and Trade, the assignment there. So I just clicked on it, and I'm supposed to hand in the answers to the questions from the other day. So at the bottom, there's that arrow again, right above your work. And notice that it says add an attachment. So if I click on that, I have to point the iPad to where I saved the attachment. So we're just going to add something random here. I selected file, and we'll just throw in whatever. I don't know, what do we want? Blank 2. So it thinks about it, it uploads it, and then see, there it is, blank2.pages. So once I verify that I've got my assignment in, I click on the thing that says turn in, and then I say yes. There we go. And now it is submitted. Now I have the option to unsubmit because, maybe I turned it in ahead of time and I realized I turned in the wrong thing, or I realized I need to make improvements. So I could unsubmit and resubmit, since it's not due yet. But I'm done, so we are done. So we can exit out, and next we'll go over how to hand it in from within an app. Another way to hand things in is from the app itself. So I'm back in Notability here. Let's say that this is my assignment and I'm ready to hand it in. I need to look for the box with the arrow pointing up, which is in the upper left-hand corner. So if I click on that, it's going to ask me where I want to send it. I need to send it to Google Classroom, which I don't see as one of my options, but at the bottom it says Other Apps. So I'll click on that. Then I can modify these choices, paper, blah, 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 but I'm just going to keep it as it is, and I'm going to click on Share Note. So now I have Google Classroom, so now I can click on that. And here's an important part to the whole process. You have to make sure to put it in the correct location, because right now it's showing up in the Zombie 101 class, which is not my current class. So I'm going to click on the right arrow and find my class, which is Sample Class. There we go. Now I'm in the correct class. Now I just have to give it to the correct assignment. So I'm going to click on Attach to Assignment. There's the 2 assignments I haven't completed yet. So let's just say it's Taxes, Liberty, and Trade that I'm turning this into. So there we go. Okay. So I could here exit out of this, go into my Google Classroom, go into Sample Class, go into Classwork, Taxes, Liberty, and Trade, look at my work. There it is. Okay, so at this point, I could turn it in. And there we are. So I have turned in my work. So in a nutshell, that is Google Classroom. There are plenty of other tutorial videos on YouTube if you want to look into even more advanced kind of things, but this should be enough that you can get started and hopefully do most of your work in Google Classroom. All right, if you have any questions, please call Columbine Middle School. Bye.